Sagittarius Collective, welcome, welcome. I'm Nikki, your local vegan tarotist, and we're going to do a reading for what is next in love or a connection that you're currently dealing with. It may or may not be your divine counterpart, but we will see. Let's get a little organized here. Maybe that means something to you. Maybe you're getting organized. I'm reading for the masculine, then I'll read for the feminine, and then I'll read for the union. Excuse me. I was going to say the potentiality of the union, and we have the 10 of Swords here and the 7 of Cups. So someone could have gotten out of something. The masculine could have left something, been deceived. They could be newly dating, newly exploring connections. They could have a lot of options. Maybe this is someone who typically falls for potential, and so they're really evaluating. Well, we have the Magician and the Empress. So this is a masculine who is not interested in any other options but this Empress. So the masculine is figuring out how to attract their divine counterpart, whether they've met them or not. Let's see. Three of Swords in the Tower. So there's disappointment, unexpected change, unexpected lessons. 2 of Wands. 2 of Swords. Okay, so this connection could have been, this could be the past, all right? So you know your timeline. But I'm seeing a connection in the masculine's timeline that left a feminine not knowing which choice to make, right? If this is a past connection, this could be where neither one of you made any choices, neither one of you spoke about things, you were not honest, right? The 2 of Swords is somebody who's not saying something, they're not communicating their needs. And maybe they're not communicating their needs. This feminine might not be communicating their needs because the masculine wasn't making a choice. The 2 of Wands. It's like they were trying to stay half in and half out of something. This is someone who's, you know, there's an opportunity to take a leap of faith, but they may just stay. And you can see one of these wands is bracketed to this tower or this structure, but I'm seeing it as a tower. And so the tower, sometimes we are the tower, right? We are the change. So sometimes the tower is just an opportunity for change that the universe sends in. We are, with free will, the ones who can choose whether or not we're going to make that change or not. And then we have the 8 of Pentacles. So this is a masculine who kind of went within. Virgo energy, went within. Knock it off. Thank you. You could be arguing with siblings or friends. But we have somebody who's going in and reworking something. They're learning a new skill. This isn't just the Page of Swords. This is somebody who's seen something that they want to achieve, acquire, attain. I don't like those terms for love because that implies that there's some sort of competition, some sort of runner. Maybe the masculine has a history of dealing with feminines who, you know, this is giving that kind of, oh, what are we going to eat for dinner? I don't know. You know, that's very commonly attributed to females or maybe feminine energy. Justice. You could be dealing with a Libra or somebody who was kind of indecisive. There's 2 swords here. 2 swords here. And then we have the 3 of Swords. So maybe there was a conversation. We don't have the 5, so there's not necessarily a blockage. But it is maybe a conversation that needs to be had or was had that caused running on the feminine side. You could be dealing with a feminine earth sign like the Queen of Pentacles. Or maybe that's what the masculine wants with the Empress, because that's Libra and Taurus. And we've had Justice come out for Libra. There's the Tower and Justice again. So maybe something around the season of Scorpio and Libra, right? You could be dealing with a cusper. Yeah, we have the Eight of Cups on the feminine side, which is choosing yourself, walking away from something that's emotionally dissatisfying. Here with the Empress. So the masculine is maybe becoming the Magician to meet this Empress where she is. Because maybe they were kind of wishy-washy. They had Seven of Cups, they had multiple options, they were indecisive, they wanted to maybe have their cake and eat it too, maybe they weren't ready for something. They're looking at this world and they see this next step, this potentiality, this opportunity as an opportunity to change their world. It's a whole new world, right? And this also, being on this ledge here, reminds me of Aladdin, where there's something about be yourself. So maybe there was some pretense here where the masculine or the feminine were, well, I'm getting more the masculine just because the feminine is coming out as the Empress, right? Very strong. I mean, in her divine feminine energy. At least that's how the masculine views the feminine. Because they chose themselves. Because they're like, no, I'm not going to be another cup. This is 8 cups. And we had the 7 of cups with the masculine. So I'm not going to be the 8th cup in your stack of cups. I'm the fucking Empress. Yeah, Knight of Wands. So maybe there was something, and this is Sagittarius energy. And that's how the feminine views the masculine with the 3 of Swords. There was disappointment here because it's like you both wanted something solid, but there was no moves toward that for whatever reason. Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is somebody who is making... that was not planned, but the way that I just scratched my face with my middle finger is kind of like that subtle to this Page of Wands. I feel like the feminine is like, no, this person's half in and half out. They're not making any choices. So feminines, if you are the Sagittarius here, then it's like the masculines, maybe because you have that very excitable energy. You have that fiery energy and you are curious about a lot of different things. Maybe this masculine mistook that as you feminines wanting to explore different things or maintain an open relationship or do something casual, just here for a good time, not a long time. And that's not what you're up for, feminines. And then we have the Queen of Swords, the Ace of Swords. This is a feminine that's holding out for communication. And when I just pulled her out, the Ace of Swords flipped over. So they're really holding on for dear life. Look how they're like white knuckling this sword, these swords. Like, I'm not going to speak to this masculine. They need to pursue me. And that is very feminine energy. Holding your ground and choosing yourself, because masculine pursues, period. That's energy, right? Whatever you identify as doesn't matter in the 3D. When we're talking energy, you either are feminine or you are masculine energy. And we shift in and out of those. We all have both in us, same ingredients, different recipes, and you can choose, right? If you are somebody who, say you're a female that identifies as a divine masculine, right? That's fine. That's fine. But or maybe you've been operating out of your masculine energy. Okay, so maybe there's a flip of energy here, because there could have been a misunderstanding about how energy works. Like, this masculine could have been in their feminine energy of receiving, of wanting all of that. But when a true masculine is in their too much in their feminine, then it's toxic. All right, it's not balanced, right? Because they are a masculine, and likewise for feminine. And so there's something about feminines, if you've been operating more out of your masculine energy, you could have been attracting masculines that were in their feminine energy. So they appeared to be maybe divine, or they appeared to be, there's potential there, all right? Maybe the potentiality is on the feminine side. Maybe it's both of you. Maybe you both saw potential here. But But the words, it's like labyrinth, okay? She's going to say the words. It's like the masculine was waiting for the feminine to lead the way because the feminine was operating more out of a masculine energy. But the feminine's like, I don't want to do that. So the feminine could have relearned, right, to get in this Empress energy. They could have gone through their dark night of the soul, a lot of introspection, that hermit mode, self-evaluation, really working on not working. And I don't mean that like, being a bum or not having a job. Okay, I mean, not working in the 3D because they realized I am actually the feminine, so I need to work in the 5D. I just got to rework this. I want a magician, so I better get back into my magic. All right, this could be a feminine who maybe slipped out of some practices that kept them in their Empress energy. And by you kind of slipping back into that, I get that, like slipping into a warm bath, right? It's like dipping back into that. This masculine is like, oh man, this is a feminine who chose themselves and walked away because I was emotionally dissatisfying. I get it. I was wishy-washy. I was not assertive. I was not masculine. I was expecting them to do all the work. But this is wish fulfillment. And again, with the Aladdin theme, right? There's the genie there. So there's something with the Aladdin theme. And it's also that sort of grandiose thing that he puts on. He goes through this Prince Ali Ababa thing. He wishes that he can be on her level. So maybe this masculine, that's that pretense, is that they could have been like, oh yeah, oh let me just count my hundreds, or oh let me put on my best flyest suit or whatever and like walk around and look like I'm doing big stuff. I feel like it was just like, look at me, I'm a big deal. But really they don't feel like a big deal compared to this feminine. First of all, love does not compare. It's not competitive. There is none of that. So there is a conditional aspect to this connection. And I also get like that the feminine doesn't give a shit about that. So maybe the masculine didn't feel that good about themselves with the job, right? Because I was saying like, oh, you're not a bum, you're not working. I don't typically talk like that because my idea of work, when people ask what I do, I'm like, people want to know what your 9 to 5 is. I don't do that. So the 8 of Pentacles is like maybe a masculine who thought that they needed to like work on their money, work on their stability, which if a masculine is not feeling confident in the 3D, then they're not going to be able to pursue a feminine effectively, right? They're not going to be in their true masculine. So the masculine needed to do this. They needed to do this work. But I do get this sense that the feminines doesn't give a shit about Prince Ali Ababa. They don't care about your fancy garb, your what you're wearing. They don't care that you're riding an elephant. Hopefully they don't fucking care that you're riding an elephant, right? Shout out to my vegans, holla. Like it's like whatever they were doing, this masculine, to maybe try to impress this feminine was a big turnoff. Because she's like, she already knows. Like once Jasmine figures out that he's a liar, then she starts to toy with him, and that's kind of what the Empress does. They're not going to meet you on that level. They're going to call you up to this level by asking questions or by just sitting in silence and holding that space of like, if you've ever sat with somebody and you are just silent, it's like everything just pours out, right? Because liars don't like empty space. They have to fill the space and they need that confirmation that it's believed. Maybe this feminine thought this masculine was just kind of like a grandiose narcissist. Oh, that's wild. Oh, that's wild. This came out of this deck. And I keep these in different satchels, so I don't even know how this Van Gogh, and this is the Fool. So there is Aries, Aquarius energy of taking that leap of faith. This is how we start connections. The true connection, right? You have to be the Emperor to be able to be the Fool. You have to be, it's like life, okay? You age to a certain point where you are wise enough to understand that it is most important to remain childlike, right? So there's something, and we have the Page of Wands. There could be an age difference here because we have the Page of Swords, and there's this sort of youthful energy to the masculine possibly, but they're watching. This masculine is watching. They want to get it right. They want to be what you want them to be, feminines. The High Priestess, you're a mystery to them though. You're a mystery to them, but there's that Seven of Cups again. But see, this Seven of Cups, maybe they're looking at their other connections, and they're like the magician, like the true magician does, they're alchemizing their perfect feminine. Could be Pisces involved here. We do have the High Priestess, but we have the Moon, Fish, a lot of blue water energy with the cups. This feminine definitely has some strong water placements and isn't going to settle for anything superficial, right? Because water energy connection is depth. It's the depths. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio are going to be, and anyone with strong placements like that are going to need, they need it like a fish needs water, you know. But we have the 1111 here, Four of Wands, something with 4. It could be a life path 4. This is the elementalist though. Life path 4s are elementalists, which is the divine alchemist, the magician. So this masculine is figuring out. They're doing the work. They're doing the work on themselves, their environment, their finances, their health, their wealth, because that's what pentacles are. So this is a very obscure throwback, but there is a movie that I grew up with called Don't Tell Her It's Me. It was later renamed, and I'm not sure why, to The Boyfriend School, but there's a sister involved, and she helps her brother, he's very sick. I think he had cancer. He recovered from cancer because he was bald, and he was overweight, like he was, you know, not attractive or whatever, but he didn't feel attractive, right? So this could be something about the masculine, like feeling more attractive, having some sort of like masculine glow up. Good for you, masculines. But he does this thing where he changes himself. Again, there's this like change. He goes from being this very like sweet cartoonist, and he's very good with kids, and he's just a very loving, sweet man. But the girl who's friends with his sister, like, she's not interested at all. You know, she's into, or he thinks she's into like bad boys, and maybe she is, right? Maybe this masculine's watching this feminine, like, you're getting all of these offers. Maybe this is the masculine watching the feminine get all these offers, and they're like, they tried to be what they thought the feminine wanted to be, and then they realize, oh, the feminine does not want that. They want truth, you know? Laying down this burden. A new path and the Fool. So the masculine is coming in, and you both have walked away from something that was emotionally dissatisfying. Maybe the masculine felt like they always had to change for feminines, and be something that they were not. And this feminine really just wants them for who they are. Ding, 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 ding. It's like an open door. That gives me like elevators. There's something with an elevator, maybe like leveling up, or maybe coming down. It's like waiting on your elevator to come, and it's ding. You can see the floor is the countdown. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ding. The doors open, and there they are. It's also serendipity. So there's some very serendipitous way that you both meet or re-meet, right? Because you may have a separation. If this is a twin flame journey, it looks like half of a twin flame because we get the feminine, the divine feminine here with the Empress. But in that movie, Don't Tell Her It's Me, and then it's later changed to the Boyfriend School. So it is like going to school. That's what 8 of Pentacles is. You might meet in school. 7 of Pentacles. So it's like the re-meet. You're re-meeting each other in a new way. So maybe you grew up together, and then years later you reconnect, right? It could be something like that. Only you will know, and definitely share in the comments if this is a long time connection, if you know who I'm talking about, and this resonates, then it could be a very long excuse me. They're talking about you though. We have the Page of Swords popping out of the feminine side. So the masculine is like getting in that feminine space. They are really trying to figure out what this feminine wants. and I can't think of his name, but he's in 3 Men and a Baby, so maybe something with the number 3. Maybe there's a child involved. But she, because there is a little girl, his niece, in the movie Don't Tell Her It's Me, where he's, the niece is kind of like giving it away. She's kind of spoiling it because she's calling him. She has a name for him. I can't remember what it is. Is his name Gus? I'm watching the show Love, and the main character's name is Gus, and he is an Aries. The actor is an Aries. So maybe something with that. There could be something. And I didn't look up her sign, but I was guessing, because I like to guess and then see if I win. If I win, it's my own little game that I win or lose that, all by myself. And she has a Sagittarius thing about her. There's something very attractive about this feminine. And there is like a visible difference, like everyone's kind of like, that's the guy she's with, because she's very, very pretty, and she's like cool, and he's a total nerd. So there's something about that. There's a difference, and it does remind me of high school, like cliques. There's like different cliques, and I think this masculine just misjudged this feminine, because with Justice coming out, it's like it didn't come out all the way, and Justice is the balancing after judgment. So there's a misjudgment here. But yeah, he puts on this leather stuff, he rides a bike, he calls himself Lobo Moringa. So maybe something with cooking, baking, because I'm getting like a meringue, lemon meringue. So maybe the color yellow, that's the solar plexus, Leo involved. Maybe something with August 8. The Magician is infinity. The Magician and Strength card are the 2 cards that have the infinity symbol, so maybe something with that, the number 8. But that's a new cycle, right? And we have the 8 of Wands, so that is in Sagittarius energy of like forging a new path. And I think that path is truth. It's causing, see, and there's strength here in this deck right now with the Nine of Swords. And I almost said 9 of Wands. Like somebody's jumping ahead of themselves here. There's a lot of passion behind this communication, and it's kind of stifling the masculine's throat chakra, I feel. All right, so now I guess we'll pull from this deck officially and see what comes out. Let's see what comes out. The Magician and the Queen of Swords. This Queen of Swords has her swords open though. King of Wands, that's a masculine who goes after what he wants. The Queen of Wands gets what she wants. The masculine gives, or goes after what he wants, and gives. Maybe there's going to be a gift here. Some sort of gift. Okay, we have the Fool, the Knight of Wands. But see, this Knight of Wands isn't like a petulant child just coming in for a quick bang. What is that from? Quick bang. Oh, fuck. I want to say it's someone with maybe like a French accent or something. But there's some sort of like, there could be a cultural or language barrier. I mean, with the throat chakra there, it could just be emotional language barrier, or it could be a literal language barrier. Because with the world there could be distance. But the Fool is coming out. This is a lot of powerful energy coming in the outcome. Because look at the difference between this past energy, Knight of Wands, with this little parasite, flea. You know, it's like, I'm just coming in with my wand. But this one's coming in. It's a Knight of Wands. And I confused, or I said wands for swords a moment ago. And this is the Knight of Wands with a sword. He's not holding a wand. He's coming in with communication. This is someone coming in with truth. And it's down too. So it's kind of subtle, or I don't know why somber just came out. Maybe there's some regret, like that this took so long, or that, you know, I'm sorry I misjudged you. I'm sorry I lied to you. I mean, essentially, I lied to myself and I lied to you. And, you know, because there's a reflection there of, that's what you thought I wanted. You thought I wanted that. So you thought I was just like into superficial nonsense. So I feel like there's some sort of butting of heads maybe with communication in the past. If you haven't met this person yet, just be prepared. This is how it goes with the twin flame journey. Okay. You have, you come in, you don't compete. I mean, you may, and then realize like, oh, that's not love. and then you have to go away. There's always a separation, and it can take an hour, a year, a decade. You know, I am getting for some of you that you've known this person for a very long time. Like you've seen them kind of phase through different things, because with the Seven of Cups, and we have the Seven of Pentacles here, that's like evolution, right? That's with the Seven of Cups, it's, you know, they're in this art class. It's like somebody who's learning about themselves. They're going back to school. They're studying. That can be the internal school of life, or and I've seen that maybe they have that on their like profile, like Facebook. You know, it's like what school? I've seen people like School of Life, currently enrolled or whatever. You know, like I've seen that. Six of Pentacles. Yeah, Six of Pentacles is agape love, and there's that Queen of Pentacles again. So there's a lot of earth energy here, and yeah, if a masculine is coming in with this Wands energy, if they're coming in as a king, that's good. We like to see the king with the page and the knights of wands. We want to see a king. An emperor would be best, but you know, it's almost like this queen is willing, this empress is all the queens, just like the emperors, all the kings. So it's like she can pull out any queen that she wants. She can play any of them. And it seems like she pulled the Uno reverse the first go around, and that really prompted and encouraged the masculine. That is the challenge, the feminine, to stay in the feminine energy of receiving and not activate into the masculine and try to pursue and chase. Because then you'll just stay in that runner chaser dynamic, right? The feminine has to hold their own space, know their worth, go through all the queens, go through all the major arcana, spend time alone. I feel like you both have been single for a while. Three of Swords. And you're going to talk about this disappointment. Okay, so there's that blockage and the Queen of Cups. King of Swords. It's funny, it's like you guys are pulling out different kings and queens, but they're not meeting. They're not the Queen and King of Cups, the Queen and King of Swords. It's like the swords are coming out with the cups here, which gives mutable energy, because mutable as a modality is air and water. So there's like this thing here. You could both be mutable signs or have strong mutable energy. It's like mutable energy is discernment between the head and the heart. So the masculine was very much up in their head, and the feminine was very much in their heart, and that's natural. That's natural for a masculine and feminine to be in those places. But if you're too much in those places, then there's no place for you to meet. There's that re-meeting. There's some sort of like, you know, and in Serendipity with the elevator scene, they both choose the same floor. You both chose each other in the ethers. You created each other for each other. You already are meant to be together. But it's all about timing. That's silly divine timing, dagnammit. And divine timing is a frequency, right? Because if you're trying to force something, you could have both been in connections when you met. And maybe you keep coming back together and you're like, oh, I'm still with somebody. I'm still with somebody. That also reminds me of a lot like love. Ashton Kutcher is, I believe he's a Cancer. I don't know what Amanda Pete is, but Ashton and Amanda, maybe the letter A, the star. So maybe Aquarius is involved here. But star is healing. The star is healing, it's wish fulfillment, and it does give me twin flame. But again, it's one-sided here. There is something about it needing to come together. Let's pull one more from this deck. Somebody was insecure about their money. We have money in reverse twice. 3 seeds. There's something about 3 as well. And see if I flip these over, we got money, money, labor. So yeah, somebody was really working and focused on their money. Now money is pentacles. That can also, again, represent health or wealth. So, and yeah, in the boyfriend school, I'm going to call it Don't Tell Her It's Me, but if you are looking for the movie, it's under the boyfriend school. Because like the sister, so there could be family involved here, sister here involved, and we have the siblings being assholes to each other. Something about maybe a Gemini, because they are Gemini twins. You could have a twin. But this, I get that this is more your twin person. And then time. Divine timing. Wheel of Fortune. I do feel like it's coming in. We've got the Fool, we've got the Star. The Tower was popping out, so I feel like that was past energy. It doesn't feel like there's any more lessons. I think the lesson is already learned, depending on where you are in this timeline, because time, again, is a frequency. So we have the number 2. Number 2. So that is the choice and the union, right? If you are a life path 2, your life is, there are constant opportunities and options for you. That 7 of Cups. So you both have a lot of options, but you only want each other. And we have green. Green is growth. All right, it's the heart chakra. Leo, Cancer energy, the sun, the moon. That is the ultimate connection. Celestial body-wise, that is the divine masculine, divine feminine, the sun and the moon. And the star is kind of that, oh my gosh, what is going on? My throat is bugging me. I'm sorry if I've just been clearing my throat the whole time. But I'm going to get through this. And I feel like that's how the masculine feels. They're like, I'm gonna say this. I have to say it. I have to speak my truth. Because this feminine is the star. It's like the feminine is like the guarding. Does it say guarding? So maybe the feminine is guarded. We have the Queen of Swords, yes. But then also guardian. It's like they see this feminine as like a guardian angel. You have guided them. That's what the feminine does. The feminine guides into the 5D. The masculine leads in the 3D. Period. That's energy. I don't know why I keep saying that like that's energy, because I think there was some confusion about how energy works between you two. And it's been a challenge to hold down the fort, so to speak. So the be yourself. Just be yourself. And you know, he flicks the genie away. It's like, that's the universe. You asked for this. You manifested this. You asked for this. You wished for this with the star. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. But be yourself. Be yourself, masculines. That's what this feminine wants to see. That's who they fell in love with. She fell in love with the street rat who gave his bread to children, who was so, there's something about children. This masculine feels very soft and kind and gentle, and but strong as well, because they're willing to protect children and the innocent, right? Being a vegan channel, right? They could be in activism. They could really work in social services or be a teacher or something where they are, or again, you may have known each other since that time. There could be children involved. But I feel like you're going to see this person and be like, that's who I want to build a family with, because that's the type of person I would love to be the leader of the pack. Wolves are the Native American zodiac for Pisces, so there could be something, again, with Pisces. It's all about the third eye, the intuition, the connection with the moon, something at night, right? You do most of your magic at night. You do most of your crafting at night. Maybe a lot of dream work. DreamWorks. There's something with cartoons too. Like I'm getting a lot of these nostalgic cartoons, things from my past, Disney, and then DreamWorks. It's so funny. The people are always like, why do you talk about movies or whatever? Like, what do movies have to do with that? It's like, that's how I've been divining. That's one of the main ways I started divining, was watching patterns in film, because that's just how I grew up. So maybe you grew up kind of introverted. Maybe you are a movie lover. Maybe this person's going to ask you out to a movie. But it is funny if you look at the production companies, DreamWorks, Lionsgate, 8-8, right? It's like you look at the films and maybe you're into conspiracy theories. I'm not going to branch off into that because I could go on for a long time, and that's not what this reading is about. But I do feel like there's a lot in there about conspiracy theories, patterns, synchronicities. Again, this could be a very serendipitous way that you meet. or re-meet. And if you meet in a serendipitous way, then your re-meeting is going to be a serendipitous way, right? And maybe you don't realize that it was serendipity until afterward. Until you re-meet, you might be like, oh my gosh. Because then everything becomes clear. It's like when you watch a movie all the way through, you go, oh, that's why they were acting that way, or that's why they said that, or oh my gosh, it's like the twist ending, you know? M. Night Shyamalan. Again, more with night. That is the night in tarot coming in. That's the action. Nights are action. And that's also like nighttime. There's something about nighttime. Maybe this person, maybe you're going to talk through the night. Maybe you both are just night owls. Owls are the Native American zodiac for Sagittarius as well. So it's like you could both share Sagittarius placements, and that could be kind of part of the confliction, is that you guys are so similar that it becomes almost confrontational. There could be a 10-year difference. We had 35-45 on the clock there. So yeah, I mean, it feels like everything's going to come through. there's just a conversation that there's a truth that needs to come out, and it needs to come out sooner rather than later. My nose is starting to itch and run. So that's what happens when, like, the closer that I get when I'm divining and channeling, that's my nose goes crazy and I was sneezing. So this is very close. It feels very close. If you resonate with this timeline, and if you're like, yeah, we've been through that, I'm just here holding it down, waiting for them to come out. And maybe the feminine already knows, because in both of these, it's like they catch on. There are clues, and they're like, oh, I know you. We've met before. And that's that re-meeting. And it could be past life, right? When you meet this person, because it's so serendipitous, you might just be like, there you are, Peter. Maybe the name Peter. But it's like this revealing thing where they're in there, but there's some sort of facade or character that this person has built to protect themselves, to protect that Three of Swords, that heartbreak, that disappointment. Or there could just be a fear of rejection, right? And it could kind of all be combined, because it usually is. If they've been rejected before, then that would give them a valid reason to fear rejection in the future, right? Because past behavior and past events are indicative of future behavior and future events. So it's very logical. It feels like it's going to be a logical thing. And masculines, I don't think that this feminine already knows. This feminine already knows you're a liar, that you're full of it, and that they want who you actually are. So just be yourself. Come in authentically, be vulnerable. I know that's easier said than done, but just do it. 37-47 on the clock there. So there's something about tens. Tens are endings, but if you, also in numerology, they are a 1, right? 0 and 1. It's basic math here. This is basic math. It feels very simple. I feel like I've just talked on and on about something that's very simple, but it needed to. So hopefully there was something in there for you. Gave you some encouragement, gave you a little bit more hope, because maybe you were teetering on like letting go and walking away completely, and maybe doing some sort of, with the magicians here, doing some sort of spell work to truly cut the cord. Free will, do what you do. Even if you cut the cord, you can cut cords, because cords are of the 3D, right? It's a 5D process. But cords are attachments. They're one-sided. If this is meant to be, you can cut the cords of attachment, but if there's the red string, right? Red string there, if there is this tether, if it's a true connection, if it's two-sided, then you can't cut that. You just can't. That's the thing that sucks about it. You don't have to be with your twin flame, right? If that work can't be done because you have free will, but there will always be that link. There will always be that connection there. So you might as well just heal it and get together and spend the rest of your life together. And I was going to say holy matrimony. With the 4 of Wands, yeah, you may want to get married to this person, but whatever that means to you, whatever matrimony or marriage or union means to you, that's what you both want. Whatever it means to you, it means the same thing to your person, because you both are linked. It is destiny. It's fated. Okay. I think that's all of it. That's what I've got. Thanks for sharing. Maybe something with groups, boyfriends, school. Anyway, I feel like there's a lot more in there. So if any of this resonated, please claim it if you want it. Comment, and let's start some dialogues here, right? Everyone's very quiet in the collective. All right, let's talk about it. It's okay to wish for it. It's okay to say, I claim this, I want this person, right? Doing the whole, oh no, I don't want them, but then you're secretly wanting them. It's bullshit. Stop doing that. Let's just be honest here. Be yourself, be honest, and let's claim like children what we actually want. Let's dream big. Let's do that dream work. Or not, free will. The end. Okay, until next time, I wish you well.